YouTube squad, spiritual family, retain gang, what is up? All right, so this is funny, man. I don't spend a lot of time looking in the mirror anymore. I used to. I feel like I just don't really do that much anymore. Just long enough to, well, see, I haven't shaved in a while. That's the thing. So that's why I haven't been in the mirror, because I don't really need the mirror to brush my teeth. I don't really even like look for whatever reason. So I turn the camera on and all of a sudden I see myself and I'm like, damn, beard's getting thick and got a little pimple still, and just noticing this stuff. It's distracting. So try and stay focused so I can make a video for you guys. All right. I got a topic in mind. I think we're going to call this video dating on semen retention. Something like that. And I'm starting to get a feel for how YouTube works, and if I want a lot of people to see my video, I gotta have a good title. I'm realizing that's part of the deal here, and it's just this funny little thing. So, because a lot of times I want to just kind of talk to you guys. I just want to chop it up just about where we're at in the world, what's going on in general, what's going on with me, what's going on with you, what's going on in the collective, and just kind of go deep into the deeper layers of this strange, very strange time period that we're all living in together. So I'll get into a little bit of that, but at the same time, I want to make a video that's got a real clear direction, which is I want to talk about, like I said, dating, and not just dating, but like coming out of our cocoon, because I think that for so many of us, I think this is a very common theme, maybe not all of us, but most of us, that have decided to do this, that have decided to go on, a long streak of retention, or at least attempt that, to abstain from the toxic behaviors, the corn, the casual sex, the dating apps, all of that stuff. So we're making this exodus out of this world of, smash first, think later, right? Or a lot of people, it's just, how can I smash? It just seems like so many people are so driven by that in this world. And it's obviously a huge issue. We know that. So that's why we do what we do. So, you guys, very, very common for anybody that sets out on this journey, and celibacy included. Even if you were going to continue maybe doing things to yourself, let's say having releases, but you decided that you were just going to be celibate, though. You were going to be like from sex with other people, and you're not going to date. You're just going to be alone for a long period of time on purpose. I think you could get very similar results that way. For a man, I think it's just when you refrain from releasing physiologically on that level, right? It adds a whole other dimension to celibacy, and obviously those things go hand in hand. So I think that's the real powerful stuff for a man is to spend a long period of time celibate, also retaining, and not only that, but being in a period of isolation and solitude. So that's what I was trying to get at here, is whether intentional or not, whether we decided to put ourselves into solitude, or we decided to just like stop going out, stop, participating in a lot of social events. And, it could have been a conscious move or something that was sort of happened to us. Maybe we ended up in jail at some point. Maybe we just ended up, in my case, with a serious knee injury and a serious breakup and being robbed. I have a whole crazy story, but basically God just did a series of things to me where he took away everything that I was leaning on for just to feel okay. Just kind of pulled the rug out from underneath me. It's like, all right, what's he gonna do? And I ended up needing knee surgery. That was fun to say. So what I did was I left the town I was living in, and I went to my parents where they live, and decided to get the surgery down there so I'd have them around to kind of help me get around when I wasn't able to walk. and they were happy to do it because they miss me, and they're always trying to get me to come visit. So I thought it'd be a nice kind of thing for me to come, visit them, and also nice to have some help from people that actually want to help, so God bless my parents. I'm very thankful for them. Also, we've had a sordid past, very you know how family of origin stuff, these are the people that trigger you the most in life. And I've had a very sordid relationship with my parents over the years, but through a lot of this stuff, we've healed a lot of stuff. But in any case, point of the story is that I ended up basically stuck at their house, not able to walk or really do anything. And it's like I could have spent a lot of time on my phone talking to people, FaceTiming, like trying to be social, even though I'm stuck on the couch. But what I did was I received everything that was happening as like, because of the timing, because I'd already decided to do retention and celibacy, and then all of this happened, and I was like, all right, God's giving me a very perfect opportunity to basically just be in solitude a lot. So while I was staying with them, I spent most of my time alone, and I let both of them know in the most respectful way that like I'm kind of like in a place where I need to be alone a lot, and I love you guys, and we're gonna see each other and we're gonna talk, but also like I'm doing this thing right now, and they were very respectful about that. And so I spent a lot of time alone, not going anywhere, and not being able to work out while on retention, which was an incredible challenge for me. Oh my God. But in that period of solitude, you guys, the anguish, I was in anguish because I was grieving my ex. I was feeling all of this stuff I haven't felt. I refused to take any painkillers for the surgery and all that stuff because I have a history with that. So I did the whole thing without painkillers. So I was just, raw dogging the whole experience. And I was kind of starting to lose my mind just with not being able to work out and move around, and just the loneliness, but also at the same time leaning into it and getting closer to God. And I was having very powerful experiences, very powerful, coming closer to God kind of experiences, and having these periods of like, I just want to scream and like smash something. But then periods of like you going to God and then experiencing this peace, and then this was just what started to happen. And so after that, when I was able to walk, I came back to my hometown, and I decided to stay in solitude even more, so now I got even more solitude because I was away from my folks. So, and I had my own apartment at the time for a while, which I don't live in anymore. But so I just, I could have started working, but I was kind of taking my time. I had some savings. So I was like, okay. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to spend as much time as I can in this solitude and really lean into this. Lean into the loneliness that comes into it, and keep going to God. And that's where, all the magic for me really happened. That's where the real shift occurred, is in that solitude phase. So I bring this up because I know a lot of us end up going through the solitude phase. I think it's just part of it. Like, God is evolving us. That's the way I look at this, is like we participate in the process. But God does the work, really. Like, God evolves us. We just have to be willing participants in that process. We have to be willing to grow. Growing involves pain, and you're birthing a new you, which means that there's like contractions and labor pains, just like there is in birth, right? So we have to kind of go through it, to get to a new level in life and to experience a higher version of ourselves, right? So we all go through this, I think, in one way or another, this solitude, this kind of retracting from society, right? It goes hand in hand with the retention and the celibacy. So what I'm getting at is that at some point that has to end. Like, we can't stay in the isolation phase forever. The isolation phase is critical, I think. Like if I were to coach somebody that really wanted to transform their whole life, if it was a man, be my biggest suggestion is like, look, dude, you need to spend, I'd say, about a year. Give yourself a year minimum of total celibacy, total abstinence. Do your best to retain the whole time. If you don't do it perfectly, that's fine, but try. And spend as much time as you possibly can alone that year. Go a whole year. You know, I would advise that to virtually any human being, actually, male or female. Go at least 1 year of your life and really just lean into it. And when you feel alone and you feel like you want to go out and distract yourself, you want to drink, you want to be around people, whatever, abstain, refrain, and just feel what you're feeling. And that process is powerful. And I think it makes us very strong spiritually. It makes us very grounded. It gives us this, really what we're doing is we're training our ability to regulate our own nervous system and to regulate our own thoughts and to understand the difference between, you know, truth and fiction. You know, we gain discernment through this process because we realize a lot of the stuff that our head is telling us is nonsense, and it's habitual thinking from conditioning. And so we have the opportunity to sort of like see this from, you know, the way that God would see it. You see ourselves as just like, well, we're just humans that have been traumatized and hurt over the years and conditioned and programmed towards certain things, and it runs deep, and it's not just going to go away overnight, and it's a process. It's a process of recovering from this stuff. So in any case, at some point we reach a level of maturity through this process of isolation, celibacy, retention, abstinence, all of this. We reach a level of maturity where it's like, now it's time to go out into the world with this. Because at a certain point, staying in the isolation phase, staying in your cocoon, so to speak, staying celibate, that actually becomes the easy way out at a certain point. Initially, it's the hard thing. It's the hard, uncomfortable thing, which makes it the right thing. It's the thing that's going to grow you. But eventually it becomes your comfort zone. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now. So this is why I'm speaking on this. It's like, I've realized I've been doing this long enough now that this has become the comfort zone. And so now I'm finding myself out in the world, and I'm working a lot. So I'm around people a lot of people often, and still adjusting to that and learning how to maintain my cool, my composure, my, you know, and everything that I've gained along the way, how to maintain that in the midst of the chaos. So it's like I always compare things to weightlifting. This is like adding weight to the barbell. You know, it's like I've been squatting an empty barbell for the last year, and now it's time to throw some plates on that thing and see if I can still lift it. That's like going out to the world, but maintaining what you've gained on your retention journey and continuing to grow. And so we have to leave the cocoon, and we have to get this greater level of resistance and have some chaos around us and some greater levels of difficulty and discomfort if we want to continue growing. Because I think if you just stay on retention alone forever, you're actually limiting your growth, your potential for growth. So at some point we have to go out into the world, and then you know, the whole female attraction aspect of this, you know, when you've gotten to the point where you're really self-contained and you're not hungry, you don't need anybody else, you're not looking for validation from the other sex, you don't need anything, right? You're in your zone, and you love being you. Like you get there, you get to that point on long retention streaks where you're just so in love with being you just don't need anybody else, right? And that energy becomes very, very infectious. I mean, people just want to be around it. And women, the more they're around you, the more they realize, like, it's not an act, it's not a front, you're not just like a really good player, like you're the real deal, like you're very authentic. They pick up on that and they love it. And then women talk to each other, and once women start talking to each other and they realize like you're legitimately a good dude, then that's when you really start getting a lot of attention from women. And so when you're ready to come out of that isolation phase and you've got all this attention from women, well, it might be time to start dating. So, and as an experiment, as an exploration, this doesn't mean it's time to end your streak. You know, do not just dive in to somebody in between somebody's legs and just start getting right after it, right? Well, hopefully you've learned along the way, that's not how we do it. That's not how we do it anymore. We get to know people very, very well before we even consider engaging with them sexually. Because it takes a while to really get to know a person, right? And so now we get to reframe our whole relationship to what it even means to date somebody. So now the experience I'm having with this, so now I'm dating somebody right now, but it's a brand new experience. And we're both very conscious. The only reason I'm willing to date this person is because she knows my whole deal. I told her everything. You know, she knows about the retention, the celibacy, the whole thing. She's been also doing the same thing for the past year. It's just amazing how God arranged this, put this person in my life. The alignment, you know, we have the same goals, we have the same interests, we're kind of at the same spot, we're so similar. We seem like just reflections of each other. And now that I love myself, it's really easy to love somebody like her. I just see so much beauty and strength in her. And I'm just kind of in awe of this person, to be honest. Sometimes I wonder if she knows about this channel and if she'll see it and she'll know I'm talking about her. But in any case, so we've decided, you know, we really hit it off, and I let her know how I feel. And this is all very new to me, to do it this way without any intention of trying to like get in bed with her. I'm not trying to go home with her. I'm not trying to get her to come home with me. In fact, I'm trying for that not to happen. I really don't want that to happen. I want this to go on. Like, if that was going to, hypothetically, if I was going to end up in bed with this girl, let's say, hypothetically, I want the dating period to go on for as long as humanly possible before that even becomes a consideration. And I love that it's not really on my mind, and it's making the experience of dating easier, but also harder at the same time, in a way, because it's not just the sex part, you guys. So it's like that part for me is easy now. After almost a year of retention, that part's pretty easy. It's like, whatever. I'm very used to not having sex now, and it's like, I'm chilling. I'm fine. I'm just fine without it. Not that I wouldn't like to have it. Trust me, I would. But I'm fine without it. You know, I don't need it. So, but there's more to it than that, right? There's all of the emotional security and all the emotional aspects of relating to the female, and then the feelings, you know. So I'm having feelings, I'm butterflies, I'm having all this, and so I'm triggered because last time I felt feelings for somebody, she ended up nearly destroying me. You know, she turned on me. She had personality disorder. You know, I don't even really want to blame her. I should have seen it coming, you know. But I was, like I said, I was in my lower nature. It was old me, man. I was driven by my lower nature more so than my higher nature. Not that my higher nature wasn't there too. It was just that the lower nature had a little bit more to say. And nowadays we've changed that. You know, the lower nature, it's still there, but the higher nature has a lot more to say. It's in charge. So this whole dynamic is different. So with this person now, because we're on the same page about all this, and we know we've both done so much growth through being alone all of this time, we're not about to just start hanging out every day or even talking every day. So here I am dating somebody, but we sort of have this agreement, like, you know, we might just hang out like once a week. You know, we might even just only talk once a week. If that. You know, if 2 weeks go by and we don't talk, okay, fine. You know, or if we talk every day, okay, fine, whatever. Like, nobody's trying to manage this thing. We're both surrendering this to God. It's like, if it sure feels right, it feels strong, but I've had feelings like this before and been wrong. And they didn't mean for that to rhyme, but this is happening more and more all the time. All right, so, but we're both very conscious of our tendencies to just kind of jump into stuff because it feels good. It's like, okay, well, yeah, this feels good. This feels right. But let's do it different. Let's do it different this time. Let's stay in our own zones, doing our own things for ourselves. Let's continue on this trajectory that we've put ourselves on, where we are moving closer and closer to our own personal goals, and we are healing more and more from the inside out, and becoming people that really have a lot to offer. And if we really do care about each other, if it's real, and maybe it's not, and I have to be okay with that too, right? It's part of the deal. There's a lot of fear here of rejection or, losing this. It's bringing up a lot of stuff for me. But in any case, whatever it is, whether this turns out to be nothing, whether this turns out to be very much something, in any case, we both have to stick to ourselves. We have to stick to our inner journeys and be self-contained, self-soothing, self-regulating individuals, sovereign individuals who do nothing more than complement each other's lives, right? Like, I doing my best not to text her all the time as much as I want to. I'm avoiding that. And instead I'm noticing that I want to. I'm noticing that I want to be around her all the time. I want to be talking to her. I want to know what she's thinking about. But I have to consciously redirect that energy back into, okay, Tim, what are you doing? What are you doing? Today you've got things that you need to do. Let's focus on those. You've got goals. You've got ambitions in life. You've made some progress. Keep making progress. Don't stop. Just because there's a girl in your life, don't start letting all of that energy go there. Keep it focused, right? And I want the same for her, because she's doing the same thing for herself. She's trying to get herself where she wants to be, and I don't want to interrupt her process at all. I want to see her achieve her goals. I achieve my goals. If those goals happen to align and we get to do this together, beautiful. If not, okay, God. Rejection is protection, right? So this is what I keep telling myself. Worst case scenario, I know I'm into it. I'm sold. I'm down. She can reject me though, and I have to be okay with that. And if that happens, I will say, okay, God, I'm sure that this is you protecting me in some way, and I'm cool with it, even if it stings. If it goes the other way, I'm terrified too, in a different kind of way, because who knows, man? Who knows where this could lead? Things could get very adult. And I still don't necessarily want to be an adult, you know what I mean? So, but at the same time I do. You get it. All right, guys, this video was a little long, but it's been a minute. So I love you guys. I hope this helps. I know a lot of you guys have been doing this for a while, and maybe you're in a similar zone and you're ready to start spreading those wings, baby. But when we do this, we got to do it consciously. Conscious. Leave the cocoon, spread the wings, stay conscious, stay true. All right. Love you guys.